This is the year, guys. This is the year that you are going to have the best yard you've ever had in your entire life. Maybe you need to repair or fix an ugly lawn that you have neglected over the years. Maybe you have never tended to a yard before. Maybe your yard is pretty good, but you want it to be better. This video is for you. I'm going to go into everything that you need to know about making your lawn the best it can possibly be this year. All right, now let's jump into the most elementary topics possible to start this video off: mowing and watering. Subscribers of this channel know that I love mowing the lawn. There's a couple reasons for that. For one, I enjoy it, but two, it is probably the most important thing that you can do for your lawn throughout the year. What I recommend to beginners is decide if you want to mow your lawn once a week regularly, or if you want to mow your grass twice a week. People who mow the lawn twice a week can get away with a shorter cut lawn. I prefer a shorter cut lawn because, as you see the slide back there, I have small kids. When there's a shortcut lawn, kids don't trip on the grass. We don't lose toys in the middle of the grass. If you want a longer lawn, or you don't want to commit to cutting the lawn twice a week, then you have to put that mower setting on a higher setting and get it every single week. If you're going to be gone for a weekend, make sure to mow it before the weekend, and then make sure to mow it after the weekend to catch back up. You can't just put your sprinkler on for 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 20 minutes is just not going to cut it. You need to get a full inch of water down for your turf every single week. Now, in the springtime, you might be able to get away with about 3/4 of an inch, but in the summertime, you might need an 1.25 inch, 1.5 every single week. That can be an extremely long watering session, depending on your sprinkler heads. Before you figure out your watering schedule, you need to figure out how much water your sprinkler heads put out. Stick some sort of a can in the water and measure it. Once you figure out how much time it takes to put a full inch of water down onto the lawn, then start setting your sprinklers or your sprinkler patterns to allow for a full inch of water to go onto the lawn one time every single week. If you do more than that, then you're going to have an excessive amount of evaporation, and you're not going to be encouraging those roots from your grass plants to start digging deeper into the ground. When you put a full inch of water down all at once, then the water is going to saturate deeper and deeper into the ground than if you spread it out over the course of a week. You can get your lawn to waking up a little bit earlier than most people on your block by doing some simple things. First of all, just taking a simple garden rake to your lawn to kind of fluff up those grass blades and get them standing upright will go a long way towards introducing airflow to the turf and allowing sunlight to hit the ground and kind of warm things up just ever so slightly, a little bit faster.
I'm making holes in the ground.
Why?
Because you said it's good for the grass.
Oh, okay, yeah. Nice. Just before your grass starts waking up, I recommend aerating the lawn. This allows air to get down deep into the soil. It allows your watering and fertilizers that come later to get down deep into the soil, warm things up, and get to the root zone fast and efficiently. After mechanical or manual aeration, I recommend that you apply humic acid to the lawn, as well as micronutrients and a little bit of liquid iron. The liquid iron and the micros will help green up the lawn a little bit, and the humic acid will allow for nutrition to enter the leaf blade a little bit more, or the root system a little bit more efficiently. Additionally, in the early spring, you should be focused on your lawnmower. If you don't have a lawnmower, go get a good one. If you have an existing lawnmower, make sure to get that lawnmower blade pulled off and sharpen it. Sharp blades are going to make mowing the lawn easier and more enjoyable, but they're also going to help your lawn fend off disease. Later in the season, lawns that are cut with mowers with dull blades are more prone to disease and fungal infection than lawns that are mowed with sharp blades. The other main point to bring up here is weed prevention. This can be purchased over the counter over at like Home Depot, Walmart, your local supermarket. Those are going to go down onto the ground, onto the lawn when your soil temperatures are passing 50 degrees. As they're passing 50 degrees, this is the zone, this is the time frame that weeds start wanting to germinate. You don't actually see the weed until much later. Lots of people want to fertilize in the spring. In the very early spring, you don't necessarily need to, mostly because the root systems have been reserving energy, reserving nutrients through the winter for the spring flush. This is a natural phenomenon. You don't need fast-release nitrogen or any fertilizers in the early spring. I do, however, recommend putting down a very slow-release organic fertilizer in the spring so that it will feed the lawn all the way through the spring. Milorganite is the obvious choice. There are alternatives. Dethatching is another thing that people want to do in the spring. Some people want to do it in the late winter, but I recommend people wait until grass is growing vigorously in the spring. When you're doing mechanical thatch removal or just using a manual thatch rake, it is really aggressive and it is really destructive to the lawn. Your grass has to be vigorously growing to deal with that stress. It is good for the grass in the long run, but if you do it too early in the season, especially when that grass is more dormant than growing, then it is going to be detrimental. Mid-spring is the best time to do a dethatching. Later in the spring, this is something you don't have to worry about in the month of February, March, and April, but later in the spring, we're in the May and June timeframe, this is when you're going to be putting down your grub preventer product. Most people put down Scott's Grub X. There are others out there. They will prevent grubs because grub season, you don't see the damage from grubs until the fall, usually. As grubs kind of come out of their eggs late in the spring, they start growing in the summer, they start eating the grass root system. And by fall, the grass starts dying. So what we want to do is we want to prevent that problem from happening before it starts. And I also know that lots of people want to put down preventative rates of fungicide, especially for those large or tall cut lawns, tall fescues and whatnot. Fungus can be a problem mid to late summer into early fall. There are ways to prevent that naturally. Those are the ones that I prefer. I hope you found a lot helpful in this video because I tried to jam-pack it with an abundance of information. Please hit that like button if you did find this helpful. And please go down into the description because there's going to be links to a lot of in-depth videos of things that I kind of glazed over in this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video down the road.